Now at 5, we are going to be tracking a winter storm rolling in for the weekend. Thunderstorms, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. I'm going to break this down for you.
Plus, a Miami woman says she was told she had to leave home with only 2 weeks' notice. And President Biden holds a call with Russian President Putin as tensions mount over Ukraine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
If you're making travel plans for the holiday weekend, you might want to consider the weather. This is KOAM News at 5. Let's go straight to meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we actually have a pretty big storm system which is going to be rolling in starting tomorrow night. And about half of the region, a little more than half of the region, is going to pick up wintry weather with this first wave. South of I-44 is going to be mainly thunderstorms, but freezing rain and sleet by the time we head into Saturday. Now, out ahead of this we actually look pretty good as we go through the next couple days, but my clicker doesn't want to work. But we are going to warm up tomorrow into the mid-60s and then Arctic air, and this mess is going to roll in for the weekend. We're going to look at all that coming up here in just a bit.
See you then. As temperatures begin to drop, energy prices are on the rise. Every state offers some sort of assistance with heating bills for households that meet certain income guidelines. The online application period is open now in Missouri, remains open until March. Oklahoma began accepting applications just this week, and Kansas accepts applications beginning this coming Monday. The income guidelines for eligibility vary from state to state. You can find a link for more information at koamnewsnow.com. Just search under the word heating. A Miami, Oklahoma woman speaks out after she says she was evicted out of the blue. Denise Rick tells us she and her family have been renting a home in Miami since February of 2017. So when her landlord, who she says she has not seen or spoken to in 2 years, handed her husband a 2-week eviction notice, she says she was shocked and heartbroken. Now she's frantically packing and looking for a new place to live before the eviction date, which she tells us has been a challenge.
No pets. But I have my daughter, and I also have my 33-year-old high-functioning autistic son that lives with me. So, you know, a 2-bedroom is not really convenient, but I would take a 2-bedroom. You know, it beats the heck out of a tent in the park.
According to Oklahoma law, if a landlord terminates a month-to-month lease, which Rywick says she has, well, then the landlord must give you at least a 30-day notice to move. Wyrick says they were given only 14 days. We reached out to her landlord, who hasn't yet responded to our request for comment. We're going to have more on this story for you tonight at 6. COVID-19 cases are rising during the holiday season. If you think you might be sick, there are local options to get tested free of charge. The Joplin Health Department hosts a free testing clinic at the Joseph Newman Innovation Center every Thursday. The Wesley House in Pittsburgh also offers free testing. You can find other locations on your state's health department website. Today, President Biden held his second call with Russian President Vladimir Putin this month amid rising tensions over Ukraine. Tens of thousands of Russian troops have gathered along Ukraine's border, stoking fears of a possible military invasion. The U.S. has warned of severe consequences if Russia attacks. Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
President Biden held Thursday's private call at the request of Russian President Vladimir Putin. At the top of the agenda, de-escalating tensions along Ukraine's border, where as many as 90,000 Russian troops are gathered.
I would assume this is an information passing event.
Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor, says he expects the real negotiations towards de-escalation to begin in January, when U.S. and Russian officials meet in Geneva.
Negotiations don't happen and are not going to succeed unless and until the Russians withdraw some troops and draw a lot of troops.
For weeks, the Biden administration says it's been coordinating with allies on a response to possible Russian aggression, including sanctions and an increased NATO presence, though there are no plans to deploy U.S. troops.
If he moves on Ukraine, the economic consequences for his economy are going to be devastating.
With U.S. intelligence warning Russia could attack as soon as next month, Ukrainian forces have begun training civilians to defend the country. Mr. Putin has said any Russian military action would be retaliatory, and he's demanded NATO not expand to Ukraine. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Missing from today's call was the leader of Ukraine, who met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken yesterday. The White House says there are plans for President Biden to speak with the Ukrainian president soon. An expanded version of the child tax credit is set to expire next month after Congress failed to reach a deal to extend it. The temporary credit has been going out every month since July. Some 35 million eligible families have been able to get up to $300 a month per child and up to $3,600 total. An extension through 2022 was taken out of the Build Back Better bill. Still ahead, you might want to check your pantry.
New testing reveals dangerous chemicals in your daily spices. I'm Naomi Ruckham with what to look for to keep your family safe.
And next in Health Watch, we look back at the top health stories of the past year, from the production of vaccines to a cross-species organ transplant. Topping today's Health Watch, as COVID cases skyrocket, another at-home test gets the green light. The White House says the FDA has approved a new home-based COVID-19 test by Siemens Healthineers under emergency use authorization. The Siemens tests are expected to be available beginning in January next month. Prior weight loss through bariatric surgery was associated with 60% lower risk of severe COVID-19 infection. The Cleveland Clinic study also found that patients who had undergone weight loss surgery cut their risk of hospitalization from coronavirus by nearly half. Researchers say this shows obesity is a modifiable risk factor for COVID-19. Overdose deaths reach a record high, and 2021 was the deadliest year in the pandemic. Reporter Naomi Ruckham has a look at the year's top health stories.
3 COVID-19 vaccines became widely available in the United States in 2021, yet the country saw twice the number of COVID deaths than the year before, with the pandemic death toll climbing to more than 800,000.
We will reach the point where we will be able to get back to doing things the way we did before, but we're going to have to make sure that we get as many people vaccinated as we possibly can.
Low vaccination rates in parts of the country and the highly contagious Delta variant led to several surges in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. In April, there was a pause on the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine after some patients developed rare but serious blood clots. The CDC and FDA lifted the pause, finding the vaccine safe and effective. But in December, the CDC voted to recommend the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines over the J&J shot, citing the rare blood clots linked to several deaths. Pharmaceutical companies developed the first oral treatments for COVID-19. Merck's molnupiravir was found to reduce hospitalization and death by 30% if taken within 5 days of symptoms, while data showed Pfizer's antiviral pill appeared to cut risks by 89% when taken within 3 days.
We are now expanding vaccine recommendations to more than 28 million children in the United States.
By November, children ages 5 to 11 were finally able to roll up their sleeves for Pfizer's lower dose COVID-19 vaccine.
For our family, a turning point in what has been an incredibly difficult 18 months.
The CDC issued stronger recommendations for everyone 18 and older to get booster shots in response to the new Omicron variant and amid evidence of waning vaccine immunity. The pandemic pushed America's opioid epidemic to unprecedented levels. The data from the National Center for Health Statistics shows more than 100,000 drug overdose deaths in the U.S. from April 2020 to April 2021, a 28.5% increase from the year before. Pandemic precautions did help stop the spread of flu last season, but it came back in the fall with some large outbreaks reported.
We were sort of taking in what we were looking at, which was incredible. It was a kidney that was immediately functioning.
Scientists in New York performed a breakthrough in organ transplant, successfully attaching a pig kidney in a human body, kept alive on a ventilator. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
The World Health Organization gave the green light to the first malaria vaccine. The WHO says children across Africa should get the shots from GlaxoSmithKline to help prevent millions of illnesses every year. Tomorrow night, an American patriot, a royal prince, and a Broadway legend are among the notable people we lost in 2021. We remember some old acquaintance tomorrow night on KOAM News at 10. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the CDC puts out a new warning about going on a cruise.
Plus, we're going to warm up for us on New Year's Eve and then slam right back down heading into New Year's Day. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it's turned out to be a pretty good Thursday for us so far. Temperatures not too bad for us today, but of course we're focusing on our next storm system, which is rolling in for us tomorrow night. Rain, showers, thunderstorms, and we may even get some strong storms in our southern counties. And then showers and thunderstorms, freezing rain and sleet on Saturday. An Arctic blast rolls through. We'll get a little bit of light snow Saturday night as well. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, mid-40s in our northern counties, and then it was near 60 the southern half of the region, so still quite a variance in temperatures across the region. Nice shot of the sun setting. Currently outside, sitting at 50, pretty much calm winds. Humidity's not bad at about 66%. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the low to mid-40s, and then I think we'll start to rise toward dawn. I think most of us are going to be near 50 by the time you wake up. We do have some clouds streaming through, but in general, not too much going on. We are going to get clouds increasing throughout the overnight hours. Here's our storm system. You can see the spin right on top of Los Angeles, southern parts of California. And it's that system that is going to head toward us as we head into the weekend. For tonight, we're okay. Temperatures actually start to rise a little bit toward dawn, so we'll start near 50. Mostly cloudy skies all day long. I do think we will start to warm things up as we go into the afternoon. Temperatures should be well into the 60s by the time we head into the afternoon. 64 for an afternoon high. Tomorrow evening, showers and thunderstorms start to develop. This is mainly going to be in our southern counties. So here's 9:30. So if you're out and about, you may need the rain gear in the northern half of the region. We don't have to worry about that. We're going to stay dry until after midnight. Then about the midnight hour, showers and thunderstorms start to increase. And this is going to be some heavy rain. We could get some strong storms. Here's 3:30 in the morning. That cold Arctic air is plunging south. So all this pink, that is freezing rain. So we are going to get ice accumulations. This is like from Nevada, Parsons, back toward Independence and points north. As we go through Saturday morning, periods of showers and thunderstorms continue. Periods of freezing rain continue in our northern counties. Most of the heaviest moisture is going to be out of here by late morning, but you can see that freezing rain line starting to inch a little bit farther south, and it gets to about the I-44 corridor. But our northern counties are going to be freezing rain for the entire event. By the time we head into the afternoon, it's just light freezing drizzle for most of us, spitting some flurries. And then as we go into Saturday night, we get another little wave, which will give us a little bit of light snow. So for the metro, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. We are going to get some light glazing of ice. So we do need to watch that. South of I-44, you're fine. And then once you get up toward Pittsburgh, Lamar, Nevada, the ice gets a little bit thicker. And then our northern counties, all sleet, where we could get upwards of an inch of sleet. So it's mainly I-44 and north as we track into Saturday. Saturday night, the main upper level wave rotates through, should give us everybody a little dosing of snow, maybe upwards of an inch of snow with the Saturday night into Sunday morning wave. So two separate waves. 64 tomorrow, we drop into the 20s Saturday. Another aspect, it's going to be windy, it's going to be cold, down to 9 Saturday night, wind chill factors well below 0.
Wow, and up to an inch of sleet should get the attention of anyone traveling
north
this weekend.
Absolutely.
Next up, coming up, the final economic report of the year. First, though, we take a moment to recognize a local veteran of the Vietnam War. Sergeant Russell Hsu served in the U.S. Army from 1966 to 1970. The Oswego, Kansas native was stationed in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Korea with an infantry unit. His medals include a Purple Heart, and we are proud to salute Sergeant Russell Hsu, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the last economic report of the year is out, and it has more good news. According to the Labor Department, first-time filings for weekly jobless claims fell by 8,000 to 198,000 last week. That was better than expected and is close to the lowest level in more than 50 years. Paid parental leave is now on the table for workers at Publix. Beginning January 1st, eligible full and part-time workers will be able to take paid time off to welcome a new baby during the first year of birth or adoption. To tap the benefit, workers have to be on the payroll for at least a year. Spices can be found in just about every American kitchen, but a new study reveals that some spices might contain more than meets the eye. Naomi Ruckham reports.
Most of us shake spices on our food and add them to our recipes without much thought. But Consumer Reports found there could be problems with some of them.
Of all the spices that we investigated, 1/3 of them had concerning levels of heavy metals, lead, cadmium, or arsenic.
Chief Scientific Officer James Dickerson says Consumer Reports tested 126 herbs and spices from 38 different companies. In every brand of oregano and thyme, concerning levels of heavy metals were detected. The metals were also found in almost all brands of ginger and basil tested, and in around half of the paprika and turmeric brands. Studies have shown that frequent exposure to lead, cadmium, and arsenic can be damaging over time.
For children, during their early stages of development, these heavy metals can adversely impact their neurological development as well as the respiratory development.
Spices are often grown overseas, where contaminated water can lead to heavy metals in the soil. The American Spice Trade Association says an analysis showed spices make up less than 0.1% of dietary lead exposure in children ages 1 to 6, and the risk is low in adults.
What should people do with this information?
Don't panic.
Dickerson says the good news is every brand tested of curry and garlic powder, black pepper, coriander, sesame seed, and saffron did not have concerning levels of metals.
Think about what herbs and spices that you and your family use and diversify the amount that you use. So don't overload on a particular spice.
He says choosing products with low levels can make sure you and your family stay safe. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, Yonkers, New York.
Now, in that Consumer Reports test, organic products did not perform any better than non-organic spices. To find that full report, click the link on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. The CDC says no one should be taking a cruise right now, regardless of their vaccination status. The agency increased the risk level for cruise ship travel to its highest level. The industry has seen a recent increase in cases of the Omicron variant on board cruise ships. If you do go on a cruise, they recommend you are fully vaccinated and have received a booster shot. Final check of the wintry forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Congress works to reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act. Then on KOAM News at 6, a substitute teacher in Golden City, Missouri faces charges for alleged sexual contact with a student. Plus, we're going to hear more from a Miami woman who says she was evicted from her home with very little notice. And advice from an area therapist about sticking to your New Year's resolutions. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. It turns out some babies come in extra large. A zoo in the Dutch city of Arnhem today welcomed a newborn manatee, a marine mammal native to the Caribbean. Zoo staff thinks it might be a boy. They say it's a little too early to tell. And the not-so-little guy seems to be healthy. They say he immediately surfaced to breathe before reaching for mother's milk. Eventually, he'll transition to the diet his mom and dad eat at the zoo, mostly endive, spinach, and broccoli. A lot of it. These things eat about 150 pounds of food per day, which would violate a lot of New Year's resolutions.
That is true.
Broccoli, spinach.
Ugh.
It's a sea mammal.
Ugh.
Maybe that's, nutritionally
that doesn't sound
what
very
they
good.
need. No, but if you're a manatee, it probably sounds delicious, I guess.
Yeah.
Changes coming in the weather, big ones.
Yeah, tomorrow we should go into the mid-60s. We'll start to get showers and thunderstorms developing during the evening hours, and then a good chunk of us are going to switch over to freezing rain, even some sleet by the time we head into Saturday. Arctic air mass pushing in.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.